I'm Rachel Humphrey, Chief Operating Officer for AAHOA. For nearly the past 11 months, I've had the privilege of serving as AAHOA's interim president and CEO. It is my pleasure now to introduce you to Cecil Staton, AAHOA's president and CEO, to tell us about himself, what drew him to AAHOA, and what excites him most about the association's future. Cecil, your professional background is well-rounded. As an executive and a small business owner, you found success in publishing and media. And as an academic, you distinguished yourself in executive leadership and as a tenured professor. What attracted you to this position as the president and CEO of the nation's largest hotel owners association? Why AAHOA?
Well, Rachel, my parents were small business people. They did not have the advantage of a college education. They just couldn't do that at that particular time in their lives, but they did go on to create small businesses. And I grew up in my father's shoe shop on Main Street, or visiting my mother's office at a company she helped start. And so that was impressed upon me. One of the things that they did expect of me, though, was to have the opportunity to get an education, something they didn't have. So I was very fortunate to go to Furman University and find my way to Oxford, where I did a doctorate. Coming home, I was a college professor, as you mentioned, administrator. I started several small businesses and then worked in government for a number of years, which was really out of my frustration with starting businesses and some of the things we had to deal with. So really, when you look at all that, what attracted me to AAHOA was really the AAHOA story, an organization founded 30 years ago by people who were starting businesses, dealing with regulations and bureaucracy and sometimes discrimination, but people who were very interested in the American dream, and they are examples of that. And that's what really has attracted me to AAHOA, is the story, the people I've met, their stories, the great things that they have done, and that's really a worthwhile thing to be engaged with. I'm very proud to be a part of AAHOA today for that reason.
What should AAHOA's members in the hotel industry know about you?
Well, I'd like for them to know I've been married for 33 years to Catherine. We have 2 sons that we're very proud of, who also have graduated from college now. One of them just finished a master's degree. And we have a dog, Mr. Darcy, who is a rescue dog we've had for just a few months. But basically, we are people who have lived the American dream ourselves. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm drawn to AAHOA because of that, and I really hope we'll be able to make a difference as we look forward to the next chapter for AAHOA and where it's going to go from here on the foundation of the great success it's had.
As an entrepreneur, you found success in the publishing and media industry. Can you tell us about how you built these businesses and the parallels between your own small business experiences and our members?
Well, I remember when I bought my first radio station. It was derelict. Went down to Florida, and literally it was in a bad location, and there was sand on the floor where the transmitter was, and I had to rebuild it from scratch. And I did that to sort of learn the business from the ground up. We were very fortunate. We sold that station within about a year, made a profit, turned it into purchasing other stations. Before you know it, we had 16 radio stations at one time. So I sort of look at a parallel with AAHOA because I know that a lot of our members have bootstrapped it. That's what I refer to it as. They really started from the ground up, learning the business, participating in it from the, every aspect. And many of them have built successful companies today. And so I've sort of lived that in a different industry. We did the same thing in the publishing industry when we started those businesses. So I have an affinity for that. And the wonderful opportunity that you can have in this country to build a business. Now, it's frustrating at times. The government gets in the way with regulations. Taxes are obviously a problem. There are other kinds of issues that you have to deal with. But you bootstrap it, and you work hard, and you create something, and that's the American dream. And that's, again, why I'm so impressed with the members of AAHOA.
In the past several years, AAHOA developed its government affairs engagement with a specific focus on federal advocacy. Now, we're working to expand our members' footprint and influence at the state level. How does your experience as a state senator inform AAHOA's advocacy efforts at the state and local level?
Well, for 10 years as a state senator, I sat on one side of the desk where I was privileged to listen to the needs of constituents And I was always very concerned about issues related to business and particularly small business. So I instinctively know what that process is like. Advocacy really is relationship building. People who are elected to office don't come to those offices with all the knowledge they need to pass judgment on the decisions that are placed in front of them. So at AAHOA, we can be a voice for those individuals. And that's one of my goals for the association, that we will become a trusted voice for elected officials at the state level as well as at the federal level, so that when there are issues that are of relevance to our members, hotel owners across this country, they will instinctively look to us for guidance, answers, and potential solutions to the challenges that we face. So it's a very important part of what we do, and I think I'm well placed to help us do that well.
As a legislator, what forms of constituent input did you find to be particularly effective in influencing your views on an issue?
Well, I really enjoyed hearing from my constituents one-on-one. Of course, you get a lot of emails and occasionally phone calls. But the best way I learned was one-on-one interaction with people who came to express concerns about particular issues or legislation that might be considered. Rachel, I hope we'll encourage our members to be very engaged in our advocacy. I've found that there is nothing more effective than having someone from a district come to speak to their House member or Senate member at the state level, or their congressman or senator in Washington. It's very important that they hear from our members who know best really the challenges that we face. And so I hope we'll be able to utilize our members and encourage them to be very, very engaged in our advocacy.
You've had a chance to meet with the AAHOA Board of Directors and many of AAHOA's past chairmen. Undoubtedly, you heard about much of AAHOA's history, from our founding 30 years ago to our recent anniversary celebration at the Convention and Trade Show in San Diego. You know where we've been, but what excites you most about where the association is heading?
I've been inspired when I've had the opportunity to speak with members of our board, and certainly with the past chairmen that I've been privileged to meet. Their stories are remarkable, and it's exactly why I'm so proud to be a part of this organization. I just want people to know that I am very committed to those original founding principles that were there when AAHOA started 30 years ago. But now, very committed to advancing that further, to taking the next step with AAHOA, to making sure that we engage hotel owners across this country who can join with us and be a part of all the things that we're doing to protect the interests of our membership. At the end of the day, for me, it's about protecting the American dream. Our members are the best examples I know of the American dream and what can be achieved in this country. And I just hope we can continue to build upon that in the days to come and make sure that that is never lost.
Cecil, thank you very much. On behalf of AAHOA's 19,000 members, our board, past chairmen, ambassadors, committees, partners, and teams in Atlanta and DC, welcome to AAHOA. We look forward to our future.